Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back at the kitchen table and I'm just gonna go over a few things that, well, there's only one thing that really annoys me about the pony motor. You know, when you rebuild it and when you're trying to get it to start, you know, time it and all that kind of stuff. It's actually pretty straightforward. You can't really go wrong. But I've been having some issues with this particular 7J1671W. Been trying to get it started for the last few days. I have had it running last year, but if you're following all the episodes, I'm slowly getting them back together and I'm trying to get it started, and it's just been a real B word, that's for sure. But anyway, my problem is the timing of the mag on these pony motors. Caterpillar, on the D2 and D4 pony motors, Caterpillar in all their wisdom there, they decided that on the mag they just need to have a little M stamped here in the gear, of which you really can't see on a good day, let alone with poor eyesight. So that's but it's a thing when you got it out on the table, you can see it. But I put a paint mark on it, so that addresses that. So through that little peephole that's in the manifold of the pony motor, which is directly in line with the tappet cover of the big diesel, and it's hard for me, and I'm sure it's hard for anybody else. I can't even get my pinky finger in that hole, so that's how small it is. You got to be able to see that this M marks, the mark on this gear aligns with the mark on this gear, which is the cam that drives the mag. I've got it, it was hard to see the stamped M in it, so I've got a paint mark on this gear, on the M, clearly marked there. I can't see this M from the peephole, that's for sure, but I can see this painted tooth. And as long as it lines up with the root of that one, we know we're timed. You can go 180 degrees, and this one I have it marked as well, C, and a paint mark on it with a C. And your timing, your engine's still going to run. You just have to switch your plug wires if it's backwards. But you want to try to get it with the M and M. That way this lead on this side of the mag goes to that cylinder. This one goes to that cylinder. Easy peasy. Clear to understand. But it's just hard after you get it on the machine. And if you have to, you know, you're running your machine, and being they're 80 years old, you're likely going to have some mag problems, you know, corroded points and stuff. You're going to have to really take the mag off, or take your dash plate back to open up this mag, clean up your points. Easier to take the mag off. Everything's good as long as you don't turn the pony motor over, but who lives in that perfect world? So anyway, if you don't turn it, slide it back in, you can sort of line it up and confirm that it's in, in alignment, but it's hard to see. Now these pony motors, when you're rebuilding them, I got this crank here. For some reason, this is the front of the pony motor engine, but for some reason it's double keyed on this side and this side, 180 degrees apart. So now you have your initial drive gear that goes on this crank. Now you can have it keyed this way or this way. So you can be 180 degrees out, but if I get my glasses on here, another thing, I'm going to put a paint mark on this sucker. There is a C here, which means crank, and that should come in that area. So that would be timed when you're putting your engine together. But you can indeed be out 180 degrees. And the way this engine is made is so simple. You can still have this turned around 180 degrees. You can have that 180 degrees. but you need to have this timed with either this mark and this mark, and if you're out, you can just switch the wires. So very easy. On top of making it easy to get it timed is the keyway for the flywheel is on the same plane as the connecting rods. When this piston and this piston is at top dead center, this is at right angles to your plane of the crank. So my plan is I'm going to confirm my timing is right on all my D4s and D2s. I'm going to confirm that the timing is right, and I'm just going to make timing marks from the flywheel that will match up with a timing mark on the transmission cover. I'm going to stamp it. So whenever I take the mag off again, I'm going to have a good reference point. I just got to roll that, and I'm going to time it so it's at right angles here. There's going to be in the flywheel that notch where you wrap your rope around, and there's two of them, one on either side. But I'm going to make sure I got the side that's in time with the mag part of the gear here, mag position of the gear, and I'm just going to make indicator marks on my transmission cover. So in future, when I have to pull this off and do other work or whatever, something happens, the pony motor gets turned over, you can confirm that you're at the right place just by looking at the markings on the transmission cover and flywheel, and not have to rely on removing that bung out, trying to get your face up in there, and there's other pieces of the engine there. It's hard to get in there to take a good look and confirm that you're in the right place. So it's a lot easier to go with the markings on the flywheel. Now, I don't know why Cat didn't put a marking on the flywheel originally. Makes sense to me. Any and all other gasoline and diesel engines I've worked on have markings on the flywheel to note top dead center or where your timing mark is. Not look through some silly little hole in some casting, with a flashlight and poor eyesight. So we're going to fix that. Anyway, when we get things lined up, we'll show you what I mean. Okay, to take care of this timing problem, I'm out here at the Army Cat, and I'm going to take a direct measure from the inner wall of that fender to the center of that notch for the rope, and I'm going to call it right on 13 inches. And when I look through the hole in the front to time the mag, that cog is up there. Plus I made a line right here. It's hard to see. I didn't use the white marker, I used a black marker. It's kind of hard to see, but that is timed right there, and on the flywheel I have marked an M for now. This machine has the floor plate in, so I'm not going to attempt to stamp that floor plate. I'm going to do it after I take the floor plate off later on when I overhaul this pony. And right at that 13-inch mark on the housing, I'm going to stamp in the letters T, D, C, which means top dead center. And that's top dead center of both of these cylinders because it's an opposing engine. If one's out, the other one's out, like a top dead center. So that's what I'm going to do. And then from then on, when I pull this pony out and install the mag, I know I just got to align that particular detent where the rope goes onto the flywheel with the TDC on the casting, and I know my mag will be positioned in there correctly. Working in the snow. Over here at my cat that I'm having trouble with, trying to get started, number 1671W. I'm just going to measure from the inside of the fender, and then now this just has to be turned like that, and then that's going to put me 13 inches from the inside of the fender to the detent for the rope on the flywheel. Now that, when I look in the little hole up top, that should indeed have my white paint mark for the mag visible. And that should be timed properly with the right timing on the ignition wires. The one on this side of the mag goes to this cylinder, and the one on that side of the mag goes to that cylinder. So, and again, there is a floor plate installed, but I'm going to have to remove that floor plate. I got ahead of myself. I should have never put it in. I should have made sure it was everything was all good to go. Because now I did have it running yesterday, and of course the pony died because the governor wasn't functioning. And now the pinion is latched into position. So now I got to open that up to trigger the latches on the pinion to put it back in neutral. Life sucks, but that's the way it is. Enough of that. I just had to go outside and do a couple of quick measurements on the Army Cat there, and I just wanted to find what the measurement was from inside of the fender to the rope pull notch there in the flywheel to determine the timing point. And what I've brought in from the tickle trunk is this little beauty. It is a stamp, metal stamp letter set that I got many years ago. Probably never used it, I think maybe once just to try it out. In fact, when I had the Predator Hotshot trucking company, yeah, I used it, or the drivers did, to stamp particular tools that belong to particular units, particular trucks. But anyway, so what we got in here, pull the lid off there. Looks like I need my glasses, and I thought that might be broken, but that is a center punch for the period. So what I got to select out of here is this one, the T, D, and C. Now, I don't know if you got that right in the camera, but that's what we're looking at, TDC. And I'm going to stamp that to the transmission cover right at that notch. Now, those gears in there are pretty coarse. So if you're out by one cog, that notch is going to travel at least an inch, maybe further, 1.25 inches or so. So if you're within basic alignment of this stamp mark, that proper cog is going to be up, ready to engage the mag. So anyway, we're not going to go any further with it today because I think you probably noticed when I had the camera outside, there's a few snowflakes coming down, and it is not that great. It's above zero, so it's snowing but melting, so it's wet. Not really into it, so it's almost noon. Time for a run. That's all we got for today. We'll catch up to you later.